Everyone thinks that if you overthink, analyze everything, or your mind never seems to switch off, something must be wrong with you. But research in cognitive psychology and creativity suggests that this pattern has also been observed in many people who later developed original ideas and took unconventional paths. What you may have always considered your biggest weakness could actually be one of the things that makes your mind different. Not a flaw, but a different way of processing the world. Today, we're going to explore 8 signs of a deeply analytical mind. And the 8th sign is so important, it might completely change the way you see yourself. The first sign begins with a simple thought that refuses to leave your mind. It enters, and instead of fading away, it grows. Researchers studying cognitive engagement have found that some people don't simply let thoughts pass through them. They naturally dive deeper into them. Psychologist John Cacioppo's work suggested that some individuals genuinely enjoy effortful thinking. Charles Darwin was known for holding on to a single idea for years, refining it over time. If this sounds familiar, maybe the issue isn't that you think too much. Maybe your mind simply isn't built to settle for shallow answers. The second sign is that silence never feels empty. When everything around you becomes quiet, your mind becomes even more active. While many people feel uncomfortable in silence, others find that it's where their clearest thinking happens. Research on attention and creativity has shown that moments with fewer external distractions can support deeper thinking. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi described how many meaningful insights emerge during states of deep focus. Isaac Newton spent long periods working in solitude. If silence helps you think more clearly, perhaps you're not lonely. You're simply in your mind's natural environment. The third sign appears when you connect ideas that seem completely unrelated. A random observation suddenly becomes a new insight. This ability is often described as associative or combinational thinking. Howard Gardner has written about how creative minds often build bridges between different fields of knowledge. Leonardo da Vinci never separated art from science. They strengthened each other. If your mind constantly connects unexpected dots, maybe it's not scattered. Maybe it's building a much bigger picture. The fourth sign is that your questions never really end. Even after finding an answer, your mind keeps searching. Research on problem finding suggests that highly creative people often spend more time improving the question than rushing toward the answer. Jacob Getzels explored this idea in his work on creativity. Albert Einstein spent years thinking about questions that many people around him ignored. If this feels familiar, maybe you're not falling behind. Maybe you're noticing questions that others haven't started asking yet. The fifth sign is that emotions don't simply pass through you. A single sentence, a brief conversation, or a small event can stay with you for hours or even days. Psychologist Elaine Aron introduced the concept of sensory processing sensitivity, describing people who process emotional and sensory experiences more deeply. This doesn't necessarily mean you're too sensitive. It may simply mean your experiences leave a stronger imprint. Vincent van Gogh is often mentioned as someone whose emotional life appeared unusually intense. If this describes you, perhaps your feelings aren't excessive. Perhaps they're simply experienced more deeply. The sixth sign is that you rarely stop at what you see on the surface. Your mind immediately asks, what's really happening underneath? While many people notice events, some naturally look for the systems behind those events. Systems thinker Donella Meadows explained that outcomes are often shaped by the interactions within a system rather than by individual parts alone. If you're constantly searching for deeper patterns, maybe you're not overanalyzing. Maybe you're seeing reality from another layer. The seventh sign appears when you feel restless, unless you're creating something. Not because someone expects it, but because something inside you needs to become real. Abraham Maslow described creativity and self-actualization as deeply connected for many people. For some, creating isn't just a hobby. It's part of psychological well-being. Thomas Edison continued inventing even without external pressure because creating was part of who he was. If you feel incomplete without building, writing, designing, or solving something, perhaps it isn't boredom. Perhaps your mind simply wants to create. And finally, the eighth sign. Everything in your life may seem calm, yet something inside keeps whispering that you're not finished becoming who you could be. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl argued that the search for meaning is one of humanity's deepest motivations. Some people continue feeling an inner pull toward growth, even when life appears stable from the outside. If you've always carried that quiet feeling that there's still more inside you waiting to emerge, maybe you're not dissatisfied. Maybe you simply recognize that your full potential hasn't yet found its place in the world. One important reminder: none of these signs, on their own, prove anything. But when several of them come together, they may describe a mind that experiences and processes the world a little differently. So now I'm curious, which of these 8 signs felt most familiar to you?